Assalamualaikum. So today we are going to discuss the second topic in Unit 9, the shortest path algorithm. This is the outline for this topic. The first one, what is the shortest path problem? Second one, is the shortest path problem well defined? The third one, the Dijkstra algorithm for shortest path problem, and the last one, implementation of Dijkstra algorithm. So everyone, the shortest path problem usually is applicable in the graph that is directed, and also the edge has the way, where usually the way describing the cost for traveling that corresponding edge. Okay, so for example, the edge from B to A has edge to be 3. The edge from B to C has a way to be 5. Okay, so this means that if we travel from B to A, the corresponding cost will be 3. If we travel from B to C, and the corresponding cost will be 5, something like that. Okay, so because the cost related to the resource that we should allocate in order to do the traveling, so we want to minimize, we want to optimize the cost that we spend in order to do the travel, something like that. Okay, so for example, we want to travel from B to D. Okay, as you can see that in order to do the travel from B to D, we can use this path BCD or BACD. Okay, if you count the total weight or total cost, you will see that the path from BCD will be 7. Okay, the path from BACD will be 3 plus 1, 4 plus 2, that will be 6. Okay, so basically if you want to minimize the resource that we allocate in order to travel from B to D, we need to choose the BACD path. That will be the minimum cost path compared to BCD. So in this case, we should pick the BACD path rather than BCD path. Okay, so that is the shortest path problem. We want to travel by using the shortest path because we want to minimize the cost for traveling that path. Okay. So now, for example, you can see that if the graph is simple like this, Now, for example, in this case, we want to know what will be the cost for traveling from B to F. Okay, you can see that there are many possible paths to travel from B to F. The first one will be B, A, C, D, and F. Okay, the associated total cost will be 11. The second part will be B, A, C, E, and F, and the associated cost will be 9. The third one, B, C, D, and F, the associated cost 12, and the last one, B, C, E, F, the associated cost will be 10. Okay, so if we want to minimize the resource that we are going to spend in order to reach F from B, then we should pick the second path, BACF. That is the shortest path problem. Okay, I think the definition of the shortest path problem is not too much difficult to understood. You can always thinking like this. For example, the vertex representing a city. So now you want to fly from city B to city F, something like that. There are many options for you. Maybe the first option by using X Airways, that Airways will travel you to F by using this path, this example. Okay, then you can also pick another Airways that will fly you from B to F by using this path. Okay, then of course you can compare the price. Okay, you can compare the price. If you are really sensitive to the price, then you can pick the one with the minimum price to travel from B to F. That will be the shortest path problem. As you can see, everyone, sometimes when we want to minimize the cost associated with the traveling, we also need to think about many things, right? For example, that in this case, to have the minimum cost to travel from B to F, we need to pick this path, okay? As you can see that if this one is like the traveling by using airplane, then you can see that you need to have 1, 2, and 3 transit, okay? Now, for example, you choose the BCEF, okay? You only need to transit into cities, just example. So actually, the minimization of the cost for traveling can be like modified not only by using one criteria, okay? Now, in this case, we have only one criteria, that is to minimize the cost only. You can always like modify the problem by also accommodating another criteria like the number of the transit cities, okay? Now, for example, you want to travel by using as less as possible the number of transit city, then maybe you can accept that the cost a little bit higher, okay? So in that case, maybe you want to use this path because the cost is only a little bit higher, but the number of the transit cities only 2, okay? Something like that. But this kind of the problem actually is quite advanced. Maybe if you are interested, you need to read some research about this. We call this to be the objective optimization problems. Okay. In this case, this is actually already like optimization, but only single objective, which is only the cost that being described by the total sum of the corresponding weights of the path. Okay, there are some detail, everyone. There are some detail about the whether the shortest path problem well defined or not. Okay, you can see that actually we can define the weight of the edge to be negative, something like this. For example, in this case, we have 1 and 2 negative weights. Okay, so now there is a question whether the shortest path problem can also be extended into the graph that containing negative 8 weights. Okay, something like that. You can see that later on if you want to go for the detail. Actually, the shortest path problems can also deal when the weight is negative, okay? But unfortunately, in many case we need to modify the method to find the shortest path problem when we have a negative cost cycle. So now you have negative weight and you also have the negative cost cycle. Negative weight is like this, okay? The negative cost cycle is the path that cyclic, okay? The path is cyclic and there is at least one negative weight to that. For example, this will be that negative cost cycle, okay? You can see that this is cycle and we have one weight to be negative, so we call it to be negative cost cycle. For the negative weight, usually we can use a standard algorithm that can be used for the shortest path problem for the all positive weight for this kind of the problem. But if you have the negative cost cycle, usually you want to use another algorithm, okay? You usually cannot use the standard algorithm to find the shortest path problem in the graph that has the negative cost cycle. But don't worry about this. This is only the detail that we will not go for this what's say in the exam, in the application. Okay, no need. This is only like some detail that to extend your knowledge only. Now we go for the core topic for the shortest path problem, which is the Dijkstra algorithm. Okay, Dijkstra algorithm. In the exam, usually we will ask you to find the shortest path problem by using the Dijkstra algorithm. Okay, So now let's look at the Dijkstra algorithm. This is the most important thing that you need to understand. The Dijkstra algorithm is the algorithm that can solve the shortest path problem for single source, okay, single source, and for a non-negative weights graph, okay. So the standard Dijkstra algorithm cannot be used to solve this kind of the graph because there is negative weight. Even though we can modify the Dijkstra algorithm to deal with the negative weight, but even though we modify the Dijkstra algorithm for the negative weight graph, but still that algorithm will not be able to deal with the negative cocycle. Okay. What is single source? What is single source? So now the Dijkstra algorithm can only be used to solve the shortest path problem for the single source. Okay, the meaning of the single source is like this. Okay, now for example we have this graph. The meaning of the single source means that we need to determine the starting vertex. For example, B. Okay, then by applying the Dijkstra algorithm, we will find the shortest path from B to all other vertices. Now, for example, applying that Dijkstra algorithm, we will be able to find that the shortest path from B to A, B to C, B to D, B to E, and B to F. Okay, but we will not be able to find what will be the shortest path, for example, from A to F. Okay, in that case, if we want to find the shortest path from A to F, we need to rerun again the Dijkstra algorithm by providing to the algorithm A to be the starting vertex. Okay, you understand everyone? So the Dijkstra algorithm is only can be used to solve the single source shortest path problem for a non-negative weights graph. This is the Dijkstra algorithm. The statement of the Dijkstra algorithm in your slide is not complete actually. Okay, I have written the complete version of the Dijkstra algorithm. So this one, wait a minute. This is the complete version of the Dijkstra algorithm to find the shortest path for the single source and in the non-negative weight graph. Okay. You can see that this is the first statement. In this first statement, we just set some distance to infinity, then set some predecessor v to something to undefined. Okay, I think we don't need to go for detail for this algorithm because it will take some time. Okay, it takes some time for you to understand. If you are interested to understand this algorithm, you can download this file in the Blackboard. Okay, the name of the file will be Dijkstra algorithm.pdf, actually not .docx because I upload the PDF version. Okay, I also provide the tracing of the algorithm by using this graph. Okay, look at this. So this is the tracing of the Dijkstra algorithm with this graph and B as the starting vertex. Okay, you can read if you are interested in the detail of the algorithm analysis, but for this for today we will only try to understand the Dijkstra algorithm, to trace the Dijkstra algorithm by filling the table. Okay, by filling this table. Okay, in the exam actually what happened, we will give you some graph, then after that we will ask you to tracing Dijkstra algorithm, maybe starting from some vertex. In this case is B. Then you only need to fill in these tables until finish, then that will be the answer. Okay, only something like that. Okay, so now everyone, let's do this tracing by using the table. Now look at this table. There is some column. Okay, this is the first one. There is the past, active vertex, something like that initially, then 1 2 3 4 5 6, then weight and predecessor. Okay, predecessor. The past means that there is past 1. Okay, past 2 3 4 5 and 6. The past means that the execution of this while loop. Okay, the execution of this while loop. If we enter the while loop for the first time, then we call it to be pass 1. If we repeat for the second one, then that will be pass 2. Okay. Then there is the statement of the active vertex. The active vertex is should be written in this row. Okay, in this row. Okay. Then initially means that what will be the initial state of the Dijkstra algorithm. The wake is like the wake from the corresponding vertex. For example, in this row, if you write the wake, that will be the wake from C to the starting vertex. Our starting vertex is B. Okay. Now, for example, here this column F means that the wake is the wake from the starting vertex B into F. Okay, that will be that wake. Especially the wake is the minimum wake, the shortest path wake. Okay, there is the statement predecessor means that the predecessor of the corresponding vertex. For example, if we are going to fill in the predecessor of D, then that will be the vertex before D when we define the shortest path. Now D over here, okay? The predecessor of D based on this graph, fortunately only C, okay? Only C, because we cannot go for D using another path, only C. That's why the predecessor of D will be C, okay? The predecessor of the E will be C also, but F has two predecessor, E and D. In that case, the information of the predecessor of the F in this table will be the predecessor that we use when we define the shortest path. Okay. Now, for example, the shortest path for the to reach F is just example this one. Okay, using this path. In that case, the predecessor of the F will be E, not D. Okay, but if the shortest path from B to F using this path, then the predecessor F will be D in that case. Okay. Okay, something like that, everyone. Now we will just do a demonstration on how to solve the Dijkstra algorithm by using this table. Okay. Okay, now initially you can see that we start with the vertex B. Okay, we start with the vertex B. So initially, of course, B to B is 0. Okay, in B to B the wake is 0. Then the other vertex, we do not see that actually. Wait a minute. I just copied the infinity sign, okay? Because we just start looking at B, we cannot see another vertices. That's why another vertices should be like defined to be infinity as the distance. Okay, that will be how we fill in the table. Only the starting vertex that need to be defined by using 0. Okay. Then, after you fill in this column, you need to determine the next active vertex. The active vertex will be the one with the minimum weight in this column, okay? Because the minimum weight in this case B, then the active vertex will be B in this case, okay? B. Okay, everyone? So the active vertex will be B as in the pass 1. In the pass 1, B will be the active vertex. Now, after this, we need to fill in this column. Okay, everyone, we need to fill in this column. This cell means that what is the distance from B to A. Okay, from B to A. Okay, actually this column, not only this column but all these cells, wait a minute. All these cells should be inserted by using the total weight of the corresponding vertex, for example D, so that this one, with respect to the starting vertex. Okay, that's why let's all fill in B to A. B to A, you can see that the weight is 3. Okay, that's why you insert 3. Okay, B to A is 3. Okay, then after that, we can see that there is another path from B that go to C. That's why B to C can be filled in also with the number is 5 because the weight is 5. Okay. From B, we can only go for A and C. We cannot go for D, E, and F yet. That's why for the other vertex, we need to just using the previous value, which is in this case infinity, okay, infinity. Now for B, because we are already in the B, the active vertex is B, this is already finished. It is not being considered anymore, okay? So this symbol means that we do not consider this cell anymore, okay? Okay, now after that, we repeat again the previous step. That we need to choose the minimum number, okay? The minimum number, okay? In that case, that will be 3, right? That will be 3. So means that the next active vertex will be A, okay? Will be A, okay? So now we just write down that A in this active vertex in the next column. Okay, everyone, something like that. This means that actually we start starting from B, then we go to A. Okay, now we are in A. So even though there are two paths that going out from B to A or to C, because the path from B to A is less than the path from B to C, we go for A, okay? We go for A. That is the meaning, okay? That is the meaning, okay? So means that we are already here. Then we can see that the predecessor of A has been decided to be B, right? That's why now we can insert the information of the predecessor of A, which is B, okay? Something like that, okay? Then also, because we have already in A, we know that the way from the source from the starting vertex to A has already decided also, which is 3. So we can also write this way to be 3, okay? Something like this, everyone. Now the active vertex is A, means that we will not deal with the A anymore. We can give this symbol, means that we will not deal with this row anymore, okay? Then you can see that for the next cell, we do not need to do anything because we have already say that we will not deal with the B anymore. So this one also like this, okay? So when you already say that you don't want to deal with the corresponding row anymore, this actually will go again until to the last one, okay? Similar with this one also, okay? So we don't deal with this row anymore, okay? Everyone, something like that. Now we are in A. From A, we can only go to C, right? Because there is only one outlink that go for C. That's why now we need to determine what will be the value that we need to insert for this cell. Now look at this, everyone. From A to C is 1. Okay, 1. Okay. But actually, you cannot put 1 in this cell because the way that we insert in this table is not the way of from, just example, A to C, no, but the way from the starting vertex into this corresponding vertex. So this means that the way from B to C by using A, because now we are in A, okay? So this is not 1 but 3 plus 1, okay? Because we go for to C from A, so BAC. So this one is not 1 but 3 plus 1. This is 4. Okay. Now for the next row, we don't need to do anything because from A there is only one path that go for C. That's why this one still the same, infinity, infinity, and infinity. Okay. Again, to determine the next active vertex, we find the minimum number in this column. In this case, that will be 4, right? Then 4 correspond to C. That's why the next active vertex will be C. Okay. So this means that actually we travel from B to A. Now we are in C. Okay. Now we are in C. Because we are already in C, That's why this cell should be should be not considered anymore. Okay, because we are already in C. That's why the row for C will be not considered anymore. Means that we can just like copy this state to the next cell and to the next cell. Okay. Now from C, we can go for D and E, right? We can go for D and E. Okay. So now this is D and this is E. Okay. From C we go to D by using this path. Okay, that's why the value that we need to enter is not 2 but 3 plus 1 plus 2. That will be 6, right? Similarly, if we want to go to E from C, the path will be B, A, C, and E. That's why the total weight will be 3 plus 1 plus 4. That will be 8. Okay. We cannot go to F from C. That's why this one still infinity. Okay. Now look at this, everyone. Now we are in C, right? We still in C. We know that now we have a C that the predecessor of the C will be A, right? Because we travel to C through A. That's why we can define the predecessor for the C to be A. Then the way from the starting vertex B to C will be 3 plus 1. That will be 4. Okay. Okay. Now we do similarly. We find to determine the next active vertex. We do similarly. We find the minimum number in this column. That will be 6. That's why the next active vertex will be D. Okay. So we write D for here. Okay. Because now D has been decided to be the next active vertex, okay, means that we do not need to consider for the D row anymore. Okay, so we can just like copy this. Okay, wait a minute. Copy this to the next cell and to the next cell. Okay. And because we are already in D, we go to D by using this path, right? Means that the predecessor of D has been decided. That will be C, okay? So the predecessor of the D is C. And of course, we already know the way. That will be 3 plus 1 plus 2, okay? So that will be 6, okay? That will be 6, okay? Okay. Now from D you can see that there is only one outlink that go to F. Means that we only need to update the value for F in this cell. Okay. That will be 3 plus 1 plus 2 plus 5. Okay. That will be 11. Okay. That will be 11. 3 plus 1 plus 2 is 6 plus 5, 11. Okay. Now everyone look at this. After that we have this cell that's still empty. What we do? If we cannot do anything, okay, if we cannot do anything because from D we can only go to F, we cannot go to E, then we just copy the previous value. We do not need to do anything, just copy the previous value, okay, something like this. Okay. Now again, to determine the next active vertex, we need to find what is the minimum value in this column. That will be 8. Okay, 8 corresponding to E. So the next active vertex will be E. Okay, because we are already in E, then we can just like say that this is not considered anymore. Also with this cell. Okay. Now we are in E, means that our traversal is like this, B, A, C, and E, right? B, A, C, and E, okay? So the predecessor of the E has been decided to be C, okay? C is the predecessor of the E. Then the weight will be 3 plus 1 plus 4. That will be 8, okay? Now, we need to only determine what is the value that we need to insert for F because there is a path from E, the active vertex, into F. Okay, because we go to E from the starting vertex using this path. That's why the value for this cell will be 3 plus 1 plus 4, that will be 8 plus 1, that will be 9. Okay, 9. Now look at this, everyone. This is 9. Okay, the previous number is 11. Because the new number 9 is small to the previous one, 11, we write 9 over here. Okay, we write 9 over here. But now, for example, just for example, this weight is not 1, but just consider it to be 10. Okay, so if we travel to F by using this path, the total weight, if this weight is 10, that will be 3 plus 1 plus 8, that will be, I'm sorry, 3 plus 1 plus 4, that will be 8 plus 10, that will be 18. This one become 18. If you have this kind of the case, then you do not need to insert that bigger number. You just copy the previous one, okay, which is smaller. Okay, so if the new number is bigger, we do not insert that. Only if the new number is smaller, then we insert that into our table. Okay, okay, that's good if you understand. Now again, we have a fill in this column. To determine the next active vertex, again we find what is the minimum number for this column. That will be 9. Okay, this number corresponds to F. That's why the next active vertex will be F. Okay, because F is the next active vertex, we do not need to consider this cell anymore. We just put this symbol. Okay, then you know that to reach F, we use this path, right? This path before, right? Because that will result in 9 as the total weight. Okay, 3 plus 1 plus 4 plus 1. Okay, that will be E. So E is the predecessor of the F. Okay, then the weight for F will be 3, 1, 4 and 1. That will be 9. Okay, now look at this. F has two predecessor actually, D and E, because we have see that by traveling using B, A, C, E, F, we got 9 to be the total weight. Okay, if we travel by using the B, A, C, D, E, D, F, then the total weight will be 11. That's why the predecessor of the F is not D, but E, because we travel to F by using the shortest path. Then when we do the shortest path, we reach F by using by traveling through E. That's why the predecessor of the F will be E. Okay, something like this, everyone. Now this is only the remaining. You can see that B is the starting vertex, so means that there is no predecessor for the B. And of course, there is no weight also. Just put 0. Okay, something like this. So everyone, this is how to do the tracing of the Dijkstra algorithm by using a table. This is the kind of the question that will be asked in the exam actually. So I think that you need to master this approach. Okay, so actually if you go for the next slide, you can see the answer. Okay, you can see the answer. Now there is one thing that remains. Actually, after we can find the shortest path, after we can determine the shortest path by filling this table, the next step is actually we need to determine the shortest path tree. Okay, or in this slide it is called to be the resulting vertex weighted graph. Okay, so you need to see. Okay, you need to see. You need to learn how to determine this. Look at this. When we travel, we start with B, right? Okay. After that, we go for A, right? We do not go for C from B, right? So we go for A. That's why here, okay, here, this part. Okay. Then after that, from A we go to C. Okay, from A we go to C. Okay. Then when we are in C, we go to D. That's why over here, okay? After that, when we are in D, we do not go to F. Actually, we return back to C to travel to E, right? Then from E, we travel to F. That's why you got this to be the shortest path tree from B to A to C to D to E and to F. Okay? Okay, something like that. Actually, you can determine that path by looking at the predecessor information. Okay, starting from the B is the predecessor of A. That's why from B to A. Okay, then A is the predecessor of C from A to C. Okay, then after that C is the predecessor of both D and E. That's why from C we branch to D and we go also to E. Then E is the predecessor of the F. That's why we have this path. Okay, so that's how to draw the corresponding shortest path tree from the graph. Okay, everyone, just look at the predecessor information. Okay. Now there is the review question. Okay, the review question that asks you to also, tracing the Dijkstra algorithm means that you need to fill in the table by using this graph with the starting vertex is A. Okay. Actually, I have done this exercise, so this is the answer. Okay, so this is the answer. Similar as the previous example, we need to fill in the table. Look at this. Initially, we just write down the starting vertex to be 0 and the other one to be infinity. Then we try to find the minimum number in this column that will be A. That's why the next active vertex will be A. Okay. From A, we can go to B and E. To B is 1 and to E is 10. Okay. 1 and 10. Okay. Then of course, because A is active vertex, the corresponding row for A will be not considered anymore. That's why you just put this hashtag until the end of the row. Okay. Then A to B is 1, A to is 10. Okay. The other vertices cannot be seen from A. That's why they are still infinity. Okay. Then after that, we need to determine what is the minimum number in this column. In this case, that will be this one. Okay, 1 corresponds to B, so B will be the next active vertex. Okay, B and B, so you do not consider them. That's why I put the hashtag until the end. Okay, and because we travel to B from A, that's why the predecessor of the B will be A, and the way will be 1. Okay. Then after that, from B we can only go for E, right? That's why from B we go for E. The way will be 1 plus 8, 9. Okay. Then for the remaining of these numbers, you just put the previous value, which is still infinity. Okay. Then the minimum number in this column is 9. That's why 9 corresponds to E. E will become the next active vertex. Okay. Then E to E will not be considered anymore. Okay. Then because we travel to E from B, the predecessor of the E will be B. Okay. And the way will be 1 plus 8. That will be 9. Then, okay. Then from E, we can go to C, to D, to F, and to G. Okay. The way from E to C will be 1 plus 8, 9 plus 2, 11. Okay. That's why to C is 11. Okay. Then to D, 9 plus 15, 24. Okay. Then to F, that will be 9 plus 5, that will be 14. To G, that will be 9 plus 3, 12. Okay, 9 plus 3 is 12. Then the remaining one, we just only copy the previous value. Okay, that's still infinity. Then again, we look at this column, we pick the minimum number, that will be 11, okay? 11 correspond to C, that's why C will become the next active vertex, okay? Because C is now the active vertex, that's why we do not consider this cell anymore. It will be not considered until the last possible value, okay? Now we are in C. Then we go to C by traveling through this path, right? That's why the predecessor of the C will be E, okay? E. And the way for C will be 1 plus 8 plus 2. That will be 11, okay? Something like that. In C, we can only go to F, right? We can only go to F. That way will be 1 plus 8 plus 2 plus 2. That will be 13, okay? That will be 13. So now, we look at this. By using this path to go to F, the total way is 13, right? Total way is 13, okay? 13. The previous value for this row is 14. Because 14 is bigger than 13, then we need to update the value, okay? The value is now 13. Okay, everyone? Then for the remaining, we only need to copy the previous value, okay? Just copy the previous value. Okay, now we are in this column. We want to determine the next active vertex. To do that, just find again the minimum value in this column. That will be 12. 12 correspond to G. So we go for G. G is the next active vertex. Okay. So means that now we are in G. Okay. We are in G. Okay. Okay, now we are in G. You can see that when we go to G, we need to use this path, right? A, B, E, and G. So means that the predecessor of the G is E. Okay, that's why here the predecessor of the G is E. And the way will be 1 plus 8 plus 3. That will be 12. Okay, that will be 12. Okay, everyone? Now look at this G and this one G. We will not consider this anymore. That's why we just put the hashtag for the remaining row. Okay. Then for from G, we can only go to F. Okay. We can only go to F by using this H. Now the corresponding total cost will be 1 plus 8 plus 3. That will be 12. Plus 4, that will be 16, okay? 16. Okay, now we are in G. This one F, okay, correspond to the F row. This part is 16. Now 16 is bigger than 13, bigger than the previous value. Means that we do not need to take that value, okay? So because 16 bigger than 13, we reject that value, we take this value, okay, the previous value. So 13 copy into this cell. Okay, everyone? Something like that. Okay, for the remaining one, we just copy the value, which is for head still infinity. Okay, now to determine the next active vertex, we pick the minimum value in this column. That will be 13. 13 corresponds to F. Okay. That's why the next active vertex will be F. Means that we can put the hashtag over here until the last one, okay? Now because we are in the F, then the F that now is the active vertex can be reached by using this path, okay? By using this path. Look at this. For the F, we reach the 13 when we are in C. Means that we reach F by using this path, okay? Not using this path, but by using this path, okay? So the predecessor of the F will be C, okay? F, the predecessor is C. And the total weight is 1, 8, 2, and 2. That will be 13, okay? 13. Okay, now from F, we can only go to H, okay? We can only go to H. The total cost will be 13 plus 5. That will be 18, okay? That's why now we are in the F. Then we go to h, the total weight is 18. The previous value is infinity. That's why we can update the value, okay? Because 18 is less than the previous value. Okay. Now we need to determine the next active vertex again by using the same approach. We find the minimum number, that will be 18. 18 correspond to h, okay? So that's why the next active vertex will be h. Then we can put hashtag for this cell and also the next cell, okay? Then from the h we cannot travel anywhere, okay? We cannot travel anywhere means that we just copy the previous value, go for the d over here, okay? Then again we can determine the predecessor of the h because we travel to h through f. That's why the predecessor of the h will be f, okay? To determine the next active vertex, we choose the minimum number, only this number available. That's why d will become the next active vertex. Means that we need to put the hashtag over here, okay? So now we finish already, okay? Then the predecessor of the d will be e because this will be path to go for the d, okay? That's why now the predecessor of the d is e and the total weight will be 24. Okay, something like that, everyone. So that is the answer for this review question, okay? If you still don't understand how to find the shortest path by using the Dijkstra algorithm, you need to do some exercise, okay? And also, if you are really interested in the algorithm analysis, you can always read this note, okay? This is I think that this is good note. You can see that the algorithm now has already complete. You can understand the algorithm, then after that you can do the tracing to the same problem, but not by using the table, but by using the step by step in the Dijkstra algorithm, okay? So in this case, for example, you can introduce the distance table and the predecessor table that need to be updated in each of the pass, okay? First pass, second pass, third pass, fourth pass until the fifth pass, okay? Okay, maybe that's it, everyone. Thank you for listening. Please also download the class participation quiz and try to answer the problem in this assignment, okay? Thank you for listening. Have a nice weekend.